put up my pop-up blind up near my home and set it way back in some thick brush and all to make it harder for the deer to see. The blind blended in really well with the surrounding there, so I was really happy with my setup. After I got settled into my blind, I went on and got my bow set up, put it in the holder, and settled in for an afternoon hunt. About 5 o'clock that afternoon, I looked up and I saw a deer coming. And as it got closer, I realized it was actually a buck that I had never had a picture of on my trail camera before. The buck had disappeared about 10 minutes ago, and then to my surprise, he appeared on my left, sneaking in toward the feeder. At this point, the buck is on the other side of the fence from me, so I have no shot. I'll have to wait. The buck stayed on the other side of the fence feeding on the corn it threw over there for some time, so I had to just continue to be patient. I thought at this point the buck had finally committed to coming over to my side of the fence, but at the last second, he turned and went right back. The anxiety was really beginning to build up. finally, the buck committed to coming over to my side of the fence where I'd have a chance at a shot. So I got my bow ready and just waited until I had the perfect opportunity. I waited and waited until the buck gave me a perfect broadside shot. All I needed was him to take one more step. And there it is. What you just heard was that arrow going through the deer and hitting the fence behind it.
Man, that was exciting.
Pay attention to this red dot, which was my aim point. Notice how far the deer drops at the shot. I immediately got out of the stand right after the shot because I could tell it was a killing shot, and that big 2-inch raised broadhead left a blood trail that anybody could follow. I saw where the blood trail led right up to the fence, and I could see where the deer had jumped over, and it started on the other side of the fence, so I quickly walked down to the gate to cross the road. My pop-up blind is behind that red tree you see directly behind me, sneaking up the hill. I had trailed the deer where it jumped the fence and run across over to my sister's yard, and then I spotted it laying up ahead.
Oh, man, I hadn't even seen this buck before. It's a nice little 8-point, probably 2.5-year-old. Man, I am proud of that. I'm proud of anything I get with a bow and arrow, but especially if I get a buck. Oh, man, that is thrilling. Got it with my Hoyt bow. All right, now the work begins.
I wanted to take a minute and kind of discuss the changes and advancements we've made in muzzleloader hunting since when I first started. When I first started, everybody pretty much used the same thing. You used genuine black powder, you used a powder measure, you kept it in a powder horn, and you had caps and a round ball and a patch. That was just a standard for hunting with a muzzleloader. The way you would start is that you would go in and get your powder measure and go and have a predetermined load set on the powder measure. Then you would take your flask or your powder horn and you'd go and fill it up to the top to get a measured load so that you could get a consistent shot out of it. Once you got the right amount in there, you simply slid the little funnel over to it, and then you would dump it down the barrel. I'm using one of these speed loaders just as an example. You would dump the load down the barrel, make sure it all went down, and at that point you would then get a pre-lubed patch, and you'd put it over the end of the barrel. Then you would take a 50 caliber round ball, and you would put it over the patch, and you'd start it down the barrel with your finger as far as you could to get it to catch. Then you would take a starter, and you would take the short starter to begin it down the barrel so that it would catch the patch and start down, and flip it over, and then use the long part of the starter to continue pushing it on down the barrel. At that point, all you had to do then was take the ramrod, take it up there, and push it on down, all the way down on top of the powder charge. Then at this point, you would get your capper, which was basically a little tool that held all your little number 11 caps on there, which was a percussion cap, which is what set off a small charge that then turned around and set off the powder charge in the barrel that sent the bullet down the barrel. You put that over the nipple on the rifle, pull it off, and then it was loaded and ready to go. Today, things have got a lot more advanced, simplified, and more accurate shooting muzzleloaders. Instead of having pure black powder, we now have an imitation black powder. There's several different models. This happens to be 777 that comes in little pellets that you simply stick in this little tool, and it pulls out two 50 grain pellets. So two of them equal a 100 grain load. So they're very accurate in that they're exactly the same size each time. The same thing, you drop it down the barrel, pull it off, there's your powder charge. Now, we've also got quite an advancement in bullets. I used a Shockwave bullet here, which actually uses a more modern bullet. It's a fully jacketed bullet with a ballistic tip on it, much like a modern rifle bullet is. It's slightly undersized, so you use a plastic sabot, which actually is slightly oversized, slightly over 50 caliber, so that it will actually grab the rifling and cut again to that plastic sabot when you put it down the rifle. Now the starter that I'm using here, it actually has a little end piece that fits the end of the bullet perfectly, so that when you push it down the barrel, it doesn't deform the bullet in any way, so it keeps consistency, which equals accuracy. You push it on down the barrel with the short starter. Then again, you just simply take the ramrod and push it all the way down on top of the powder charge. Now there's several different types of caps that you can use. I still use the number 11s because of my muzzleloader that I have. That's what they use. But a lot of people will use actually shotgun primers now, which are a lot hotter and a lot more reliable in igniting the powder. I've been watching this little squirrel run up and down the tree beside the feeder, when all of a sudden I looked over and I saw a deer's head pop out from behind a tree. How it got there without me seeing it, I'll never know. They never cease to amaze me. I watched it over just a little bit until she got out and I could see her a little bit better to make a good shot. I waited until the deer gave me a good opportunity, and I went on and took my safety off and got ready for the shot. With a well-placed shot, the deer dropped right on the spot, just like it was supposed to. Well, here's the first day of gun season. It's been raining ever since we got out here. Almost 9 o'clock now, so we've been sitting out in the rain for about, I don't know, 3.5 hours.
he didn't yell it, of course, because we were in the deer stand and that, but, then it came closer to our stand, and it was too far for me to shoot it, so it kept coming closer, and then I shot it. Not really shot it, but I shot at it, and then it ran that way, and there was this little trail that came back, and it did this. It came back to us, and I didn't have a bullet, and Dad asked me, "Do you want to shoot it?" And I said, "No." But it was fun watching it.
It was.
That was exciting, wasn't it? That's the first time you ever even shot the 20 gauge, isn't it? Oh, cool.
First time I ever shot at a deer.
Yes. That's the first time you've seen one when you're out deer hunting too, wasn't it?
Nope.
No?
That's the first deer we seen.
Oh yeah.
We were sitting there and I saw two legs and I tapped Logan and said, "Get ready." So I grabbed the 20 gauge, cocked the hammer and set it up there. It took it 2-3 seconds to actually get under the feeder, and when he turned, I already had my rifle up, safety off in case it was a big one. And when he turned his head, I looked between his ear and it was two big old spikes about that long. He definitely a spike. And then, like Logan said, he walked right underneath the feeder, and I said, "Hang on," and he started angling toward us, kept coming a little closer. He got within about 40 yards of us, and he turned almost broadside, and I said, "If you got a shot, take it." And when he shot, I saw it duck, turn. Of course, then we went to jump and hugging, and I was like, "Be quiet." Sure enough, it was 10 minutes later, we saw him walking through the woods. Actually, Logan saw him first. I was down there texting everybody and letting them know Logan shot. Logan tapped me, and he was like, "Dad, Dad." And I looked up, and he was probably 20 yards from us.
Less than that.
No, he
And no
was standing
bullet.
broadside, just standing there.
No bullet.
Like this.
I was like, "You want to use my gun?" He's like, "No." I was like, "Just try." But he never did.
Oh, wow.
After that, I was going to use this gun no matter
And he
what.
didn't buck and run. He turned around.
He looked at it straight in the eye.
Yeah, he was looking
I looked
right
at
at
him in
us
the
the
eye
whole
for a
time.
few minutes.
And he finally just didn't like something and took 3 hops off.
Hmm.
But I saw both sides of him and
I
I
didn't
didn't
shoot
see
him.
anything. Nothing that concerned me.
All right, after a long, hard day of deer hunting, sometimes we like to just come back and sit down and relax for a little bit. Max, see if you can find something on the radio.
Also,
Not only more about gel coat.
When the fourth round would
Don't you call in the... More importantly, he knew what he was talking about.
July is National Baked Bean Month. Excuse me. Yes, a month in which we pay tribute to one of America's favorite, most healthful, and nutritious foods. I'm terribly sorry. As I was saying, good Lord, this is terribly embarrassing. I'm so... Whoa, doggy! I guess I'd better wrap this up quick. Basically... Oh, God! Oh, my God!
Baked beans. They're nature's way of saying, for God's sake, open a window. Sorry.
Oh, that's funny. I don't care who you are.
I
That's
will
it.
find
All we need.
a way.
Later that afternoon, the rain had quit and everything kind of picked up, and I actually started seeing quite a bit of activity in the woods. And I had these visitors come in.
Well, there's a long-beard gobbler in my neck of the woods. He's got a 12-inch beard and his gobble sounds real good. I really want to back him, so I roosted him last night. Snuck in there this morning about an hour before daylight. He was perched up in a pine tree, high up off the ground, gobbling and spit drumming at every sweet hymn sound. So I set my floozy out, and soon as he could see, he flapped his wings and he pitched down right out of that tree. His beard was swinging. That beard was swinging.
long after the turkeys left, I had this little raccoon come walking in, and he just walked right up underneath my feeder and sat down and helped himself to some of my corn. He wasn't there but about 5 minutes or so, though, and then he just moved on down the road. With all the wildlife activity I was seeing, I had to believe that there was going to be a deer show up before dark. I was just hoping they'd show up sooner than later because I was beginning to lose shooting light. All of a sudden, I heard something walking in the leaves to my left, and I slowly turned my head and cut my eyes and looked, and there was a deer walking right past me at about 5 yards, heading toward the feeder. As soon as she got past me, I went on and eased my rifle up and got ready for a shot and eased my safety off. Again, with a well-placed shot, the deer dropped right on the spot just like they're supposed to. As you see here, the deer actually bounced when it hit the ground. That's dropping pretty much straight down. Well, that's my 2013 deer season. I hope you enjoyed it, because I enjoyed sharing it with you. Thank you. And with this last deer, that completed my 8th triple trophy.